So yeah, the agenda is to know the basics of CRM. What is CRM? And we also need to cover what is cloud computing. Okay, and we have different modules like Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and Marketing Cloud. So these are the three modules we need to cover, right? And the career opportunities with Salesforce. Okay, so yeah. So what is Salesforce? Salesforce is a CRM application which is nothing but a customer relationship management tool. Okay, so we have so many traditional tools who are offering the same service. Like we have PeopleSoft CRM, and we have a Siebel CRM, and we have a Sugar CRM. Among these all, we have so many, but Siebel CRM is the most successful CRM. Okay, so People CRM is came into the market something around in 1980s, and Siebel is there in the market from 1990s. So these are using client server architecture, and among these all, Siebel has captured almost all the market. Okay, so yeah, when we have
Hey Srini, this is Jay. I can't hear you anything. I'm not sure if it is same with others as well, but I can
others
hear
can
you.
hear because I checked with them. So yeah, let me check again. Is everyone fine? Is everyone can hear me? Please, can you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, Vamshi.
Abhishek, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can also hear you.
yeah, Jay. What you do is you just check with your audio connections, or else I guess Abhishek is connected by using his mobile device. Abhishek,
Yes, yes.
can you please
Yeah,
text the number? I mean, we can chat here. So there is a chat option here. So if you can text the number, Jay, please use this
sure.
mobile number to connect.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, thanks, Abhishek.
Sure, sir.
Is that fine, Jay?
Yes, I'm just 646-749-9. I think I sent the number to everybody.
Yeah, I guess he cannot hear. If you text him, that is fine. So he can see it and he may reconnect.
Yeah, I just texted 646-749-3131.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we can see. Yeah.
it's visible to
Thanks,
everybody.
Abhishek. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
Right. So when we have all these CRM tools readily available, why one need to go for? Okay. So there are some advantages compared to the traditional CRMs to the Salesforce. So Salesforce is totally based on cloud computing. Okay. So let me explain you what is cloud computing. So Salesforce is totally based on cloud. Okay, so cloud is nothing but internet. I can say cloud is equal to internet. So everything is there on the internet, and you don't need to install anything in the local. Okay, so when you go to other tools like PeopleSoft CRM and Siebel CRM, you need to install the software in your local. So Siebel CRM, it takes almost 2 to 3 hours to install. It will be asking you so many things. It will be checking lot of system properties. Okay, we need to have a configured system to use Siebel CRM. Like it supports XP and it do not support the latest versions of operating system. And there are so many things like that. So we need to have this much RAM and we need to have this much hard drive, and uh, the processor type of this should be something in advance to this, maybe advanced P4 or dual core or I processor, something like that. So there are so many restrictions when you are installing all these softwares. But in case of Salesforce, we don't need to install anything. Everything is just cloud. Okay, so cloud computing is nothing but putting everything on the internet. Something like you can say Google Drive. Your Google Drive is a cloud based tool. Your Gmail is also a cloud based tool. So whenever you are accessing Google Drive, it will be asking you for the username and password so that you can access the data you saved on your Google Drive. So something like similar. So cloud computing means it is providing the total software required to use on the internet. So what we need to do is we just need to have the username and password to get access to the data. Okay, so Salesforce is also a similar kind of tool. Okay, so which is totally built on cloud. So you just need to go to your login.salesforce.com and give your username and password and start working on it. Okay, when compared to other traditional CRMs, you need to install everything. Okay, suppose Oracle is having some CRM application. Okay, so they are having some CRM application. So just consider this thing, like Oracle CRM is based on Oracle 9, but the recent versions of Oracle has came up. Okay, so Oracle 10 is already in the market and 11 is about to release, I guess. Maybe they are already released, I'm not sure about it. But whenever they are upgrading the version, what one need to do? Okay, they need to reinstall the software again. So if you are using Oracle 9, if you wanted to get the latest features of Oracle software, you need to uninstall your existing Oracle, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of pain, and a lot of workflows is required. And again, you need to buy the license for the Oracle 10 or whatever the latest version, and again you need to install it. Okay, so after installing your Oracle software, again you need to think of your CRM application built on Oracle. Again you need to install your total application. So what about the application which is developed on the Oracle 9 platform? We need to ignore it, or else we need to we may take some features of it. Like if something is coded in the backend, we can take it and we can again copy paste it. But anyway, it is a risky job, right? So once the version is developed, so it is really a big pain for the companies to upgrade. Okay, so this is to avoid such kind of instances, so Salesforce has come up with its cloud computing tool. So why only Salesforce? We have so many tools in the market which are built on uh, cloud. Yeah, you're right. So Microsoft is also released a latest application called Microsoft Dynamics. So at present, these two are the CRM applications which are totally built on cloud. So Salesforce came into the market very early, but Microsoft Dynamics came into market very recently. Okay, so anyway, the Microsoft Dynamics is not able to capture that much market as Salesforce done. Okay, so yeah, what exactly CRM stands for? So let me go for a CRM. So CRM is nothing but a customer relationship management tool. So if you have a business, you need to have a customer. Okay, so whenever you have a customer, then only you can have business. Without customer, there is no meaning of business. Okay, so suppose I have a business and I have some thousands of customers. I don't need a CRM tool to manage my few customers. Like if the customers are in thousands, then I don't need any tool. But if I have a customers, in millions. So there are some uh, multinational companies which are having around millions of customers, right? So the company with which I worked before, like, I worked for a client in USA. So he is having around 13 millions of customers in USA. Okay. So in that case, it is really difficult to organize data, and it is really difficult to provide service to the customers if we don't have a CRM tool. Okay, if I have some thousands of customers, that's enough. I can take a Excel sheet, and I can have the data of all the customers and phone numbers, contact information, what service I am providing to them, and what are they expecting from me. So everything I can keep in my hard drive. But if I have millions of customers, it is really very difficult without having a CRM to managing the total customers and providing efficient services is not at all possible. So this is the reason CRM tools came into the picture. Okay, so the CRM tools, the first CRM tool came into market something around in 1980s, and after that 1990s Siebel has come into the market, and it has captured the total market, I would say. So it is the most popular CRM till now. Okay, so but the only disadvantage is it is not based on cloud. Okay, and installing software is not that easy. Okay, so and suppose Siebel is released a version, and in future they are going to release a upgraded version with lot more features, then companies are in fear, like, how much it is going to be charged for the new version. Okay, and what are the impacts if we go for new versions? So already we developed our application using some older version, and if the new version is still released, and I wanted to get the new features, but what are the drawbacks in it? Again, I need to code everything. Again, I need to install new software. Like, there will be a lot of people working on Siebel. So installing the software in all the systems is a very risky task, right? And yeah, so this is about a CRM. So in Salesforce, we have three types of clouds. So as we have already seen, these are the three types of clouds. Okay, so Sales Cloud and Service Cloud and Marketing Cloud. Okay, so before going for CRM, let me explain something about ERP. Okay, so ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, which is having, finance and accounting teams and human resources team, manufacturing, supply chain management, project management. So like manufacturing product or manufacturing some service is the, it comes under ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. So managing resources, managing the necessities of manufacturing a product, and supply chain management, and the total team management, everything comes under this Enterprise Resource Planning. So till your product is built, so that comes under ERP. And once your product is built and you started marketing your product, so the role of CRM starts here. Okay, whenever you market your product, you may get some sales. Okay, so you may get some customers, and whenever there is a customer, there may be some complaints from the customer. There comes the Service Cloud. Okay, so Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and Marketing Cloud. Okay, so whenever the product is ready, we'll be going to your Marketing Cloud. So when the marketing is done, you may get some customers. So there you may be working on your, sorry about that, Sales Cloud, and whenever there are some sales, there may be some complaints from the customers. So your Service Cloud starts there. Okay, so ERP is till your product is ready, or till you are ready with some service. Like business is nothing but manufacturing product and selling them. It may also be a service. Take the example of internet service providers. So they are providing broadband service, right? So in the same way, a business is not something like, just selling a product. It may also be a service. Okay, right? So we have seen this one, like, so whenever you are using cloud, see, if you are not using cloud, you need to have your own setup. Like you need to have your database, you need to have your servers, and you need to have your local systems. Okay, and there is lot of things included, like you need to install your software, you need to have the license for them. Okay, so there is lot much. Okay, but in cloud computing you don't need to have anything. Just have your device, get the license, and after getting license you will be getting your username, password, and log into the application, start working on it. That's it. You don't need to worry about your servers, your security. Okay, so lot of issues, like security is a major issue, right? So this is also taken care by Salesforce, so you don't need to have any security to your Salesforce organization. Okay, so what Salesforce is exactly providing us, right? So see here, these are the three main things Salesforce is providing. Okay, so SaaS, it stands for software as a service. So what is the software? So if you wanted to use your Siebel CRM, you need to get your Siebel software. Okay, they'll be giving you some CD and you need to install it. So here, what is a software? So SaaS, it stands for software as a service, and which is nothing but our login.salesforce.com. So once you log into this one, your software is ready to customize. You can customize your software. Okay, and it also providing platform. So PaaS stands for platform as a service. So what is the platform Salesforce is providing us to customize our application? See, the Salesforce is providing a application which is ready to use. You can straight away ready to use. So they have taken these considerations, like what a CRM tool need to have, what are the main requirements to start a business. So by taking all these into account, they have already developed one application. They will be giving you the application. Okay, so if you don't like that, then you have to customize your application in your own way, right? So to customize your application, you need to have a platform. So what is the platform Salesforce is providing to customer our application? It is nothing but post.com. We have a post.com platform in Salesforce to customize our application, and it also providing IaaS. It stands for infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure. So infrastructure is nothing but, if you, yeah. So what is infrastructure? So whenever you're starting your CRM tool, you need to think of lot many things, like you need to have a separate networking team, okay, to install your softwares, and you need to have a database, and you need to have servers for them. Okay, and there is lot many things we need to take care of whenever we are starting our application, right? So there is no need to worry about all these things. If you go for CRM, they will be providing you everything. Okay, so they provide you the database and the networking and everything, the security also. Security is the major issue. So if you are customizing your application, then you need to think of the security also. So the security is also taken care by the Salesforce. Okay, so it is providing everything. What a client, what a user need to have is just go to your login.salesforce.com, give your user credentials, and just log into your application and start using it. So as it is having these many advantages, so who can resist from going for that? So that is the reason most of the companies almost are migrating to Salesforce. And Salesforce is having some releases. So every year they'll be releasing, they'll be releasing their application 3 times with the new features. Okay, so every year they'll be having 3 releases. One is summer and winter and the spring release. Recently they released the summer release. Okay, so you may get it out. Anyway, here also we have releases, and anyway the people may be in trouble to upgrade their software. So there is no issue like that. You don't need to pay any extra cost whenever you are upgrading your account. And one more thing is, we won't upgrade our account. All the accounts by default, whenever a new release comes, are upgraded automatically. Suppose, let me tell you this example. So when I used my Gmail in somewhere around 2004 or 5, I need to have all the mails in one tab. Like whatever the mail it is, it used to display in one tab. But now if I open my Gmail, I can see promotional, I can see social, and I can see primary. I have not done anything to my Gmail. That is automatically upgraded. So in the same way, if there are any future they are going to release in the next release, we don't need to worry about them. So they'll be included with what you are having now. Automatically your account will be upgraded. Okay. So something like, let me open my trial version of Salesforce. Right. See here, 17. Okay. So this is the latest version. Right. So a few days back, just 1 month back, it used to display 16 here, but now it is displaying 17. I have not done anything. Okay, so they automatically upgrade all the accounts and they provide all the new features to the users who are using this application. Okay, right. Next. Yes, these are all the things the CRM is going to cover. See the slide. Right. So in the marketing, we will be generating some leads. Okay. So by using different marketing strategies. So a company may use different marketing strategies to generate customers. So lead is nothing but, in terms of Salesforce, lead is not a customer, but the person who is having some interest in our business or in our service. So we can term it as a lead. So use different marketing strategies and generate leads and form a database with the leads. So this is the duty of marketing people, and we do these three things in the marketing cloud. And what is Sales Cloud? Immediately Sales Cloud role comes. Okay, so assign leads. So lead is not a customer. He is not yet our customer. He is just a person who is interested in our business or buying our product or using our service. So what we do in Sales Cloud? So we will assign leads to the customer care representatives or sales team. Okay, so if you got some thousands of leads will be shared among all the sales team, and they will be contacting the lead in different forms. Maybe they may be emailing, they may be calling them, they may be texting them. Okay, so what they do is they try to convince the customer. They highlight the main features of their product or their service. Okay, so and they convince and they try to convert a lead to a customer. Okay, so qualifying leads means and convincing the customers, and converting the lead means becoming a lead to a customer. Okay, making a lead to a customer, right? And track opportunity. So in terms of Salesforce, opportunity is nothing but what is the amount we can generate, what is the revenue we can generate with the lead or with the customer. So that is opportunity. So track the opportunities, how much revenue we can generate, because salespeople will be getting some commission. So it is something like commission based they'll be getting some commission if they generate more revenue from a customer. So that is about tracking opportunities. So immediately next to that we can see orders here. So deliver the product and produce invoice. Okay, and next you can see support. So whenever there is a customer, definitely there will be a complaints from the customer, right? So if at all, we cannot guarantee that all the products we are manufacturing are of 100% good quality. So sometimes something may go wrong from a customer, and so he may got a complaint saying that so the product is under warranty but it is not working as expected. So in that case, what the customer will be doing, he'll be contacting the customer care and explaining his problem, and the support people has to give a good service so that they can retain the customer for longer time. See here, the motto of a business is not like selling products. We should retain the customer for a longer duration so that we can generate more and more revenue from the customer. Okay, so Service Cloud in Salesforce is built in such a way that the service we can provide to the customer is very faster than any other technology. Whenever a customer is raising his complaint online, immediately he'll be getting an email. We got your request, and one of your representatives will be contacting you as soon as possible. So we can write a backend workflow. Say whenever a complaint has raised, immediately the customer will be getting some response. Okay, so something like that. We can monitor everything very quickly, very fastly. It is not the case with other CRMs. It takes some time, right? So, and I need to explain this thing also to you. So Salesforce is providing multi-tenancy architecture. What is multi-tenancy architecture? Suppose there are some 1,000 companies which are using Salesforce CRM. So everyone is using login.salesforce.com. How these people are going to monitor the traffic? Because during the weekdays, everyone is accessing login.salesforce.com. Okay, so if many of the people are using the same website at same time, then there may be a problem. There may be very slow loading of the page, and there may be huge traffic to the website so that the server may go down. So some kind of problems may occur, but they have managed things very efficiently. Let me show you. If you go to trust.salesforce.com, maybe it is status. Yeah. Go to status.salesforce.com. So they'll be listing you the total servers available. See here, these are all the servers. Okay, so if you see this kind of symbol on any server, then something like there is some maintenance or some server degradation or something going on to the server. Okay, so anyway, if they wanted to do something, I mean, if the server is in trouble, then well in advance they will inform the people. Everyone, they will be informing, like, on this particular day there is a maintenance going on for a particular server. So they'll be telling you it well in advance, like 1 month before or something. Whenever you opening your Salesforce account, there will be a pop-up. You can see if there is any future maintenance, they'll be giving you the timings. During these timings, there is a server maintenance, so during that time the server may be slow. Okay, so they will be giving you that kind of information also. So here, if you see NA stands for North America. See, these many servers are available for North America. Okay, CS is sandbox, it is a different thing. And for European Union, we have EU, and Asia Pacific, we have AP0, AP1, something like that. Okay, so they are breaking the traffic. Okay, so suppose take the example of NA2. They may be giving a few companies access to log into this server. Okay, NA2 suppose. And one more thing we need to remember here is no organization, no company is having dedicated server. They are not giving any dedicated servers to anyone. Everything is commonly shared. Okay, that is the meaning of multi-tenancy architecture. There will be so many people connecting to one server and using the application. Okay, so this way they are going to monitor their traffic. So there may be some 100 users for NA2, maybe some another 100 users for NA3 and NA4, something like that. So how you are defining, like, who is connecting to what? So how you are defining? See, North American server is there, Asia Pacific server is there, and European Union server is there. So whenever you are trying to create your account, your developer account in Salesforce, they will be asking you for the country and zip code. Based on that, they will be connecting you to one of the servers, one of the available servers. Okay. See here, I logged in here and I connected to NA35. I connected to North America 35 because when I am creating this account, I have given that the country is United States and zip code is my local area zip code. So that is the reason I connected to NA35. If you give some address like Singapore, then that will be connected to Asia Pacific. Okay, if you give some address like some zip code of European Union, then you'll be connecting to Europe server. Okay, so this way they are going to organize all the server. Okay, so in particular server they will be giving you some space, but they will not be giving you a total server they won't dedicate it to anyone. Okay, so see here, all the resources you can commonly share. Maybe these many users are there, so when these many users are there, you can share, you can use all the resources like security, like database, and all the things like server upgrades and the software. Okay, so whatever we discussed in software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service, so you can use all the things commonly. Okay, so that is about multi-tenancy architecture, and we have already covered this. What if a new version of Salesforce came into market? See here, from I guess from past 15 years, Salesforce is in market, and every year it is giving 3 releases. So what happens if a new release come? Do I need to again install? Do I need to pay any extra cost? Okay, how it is going to upgrade my account? So here everything is taken care by the Salesforce. You don't need to pay any upfront charges for upgradation. Okay, everything is automatic. What you need to do is you need to first take your organization into account. So what is the size of your organization? So what kind of account I need to take, because Salesforce is giving you different form of licenses. Okay, if your organization is really very big, then you can go for unlimited, but if yours is a very small, then you can go for something like enterprise edition, professional edition, something like that. Okay, so we have some licenses called unlimited, enterprise, professional. Okay, so and these are the license cost. See here, see how much cheap it is. Okay, so this is the uh, license cost for unlimited version. Okay, so these are the main advantages they are providing with each and every license. Okay, so if at all when you working on Salesforce you got some doubt, then you can immediately make a call to customer support 24/7. Suppose you are a developer and you're working on some, you're developing some component and you got some doubt in that and you need some help, then you can contact Salesforce and get a suggestion from them. And for unlimited version users, the response is very fast. They'll be going to answer your questions within 1 hour. Okay, if that is something kind of professional or enterprise, then they may be giving you the solution in 1 day. The response, not the solution, they'll be responding to your query in 1 day. So it is very quick and very fast, but it is not the case with Civil. Okay, so to debug your issue itself, it takes long time in Civil software, and you need to install so many software, like you cannot directly move anything in production. Okay, but here you can do something in production also. Okay, so yeah, let me list out the advantages of using Salesforce. Okay, so what are the advantages? No hardware is needed. Okay, you don't need to install any software. Okay, and you don't need to worry about infrastructure like a database and security and all, and there is no upfront license fees. If in future, in coming months, if there is a new release with some extra features, to get that extra features you don't need to pay any extra money. okay, and lower implementation cost. I have already shown you the prices of the editions, okay, very lower implementation cost and free upgrades. You don't need to pay for any upgrade, and there is no ongoing maintenance fee also. If something goes wrong, and you may be taking the help of a Salesforce support, and there is no maintenance fee. Okay, so by keeping all these advantages in mind, the companies who are using Siebel or PeopleSoft or Sugar CRM and whatever it is, so they simply started migrating one by one, and now most of the companies who are doing business with customers are moving to Salesforce. Okay, and what are the career opportunities with Salesforce? What are the career opportunities? So as a beginner, if you are good at administration, you can become a Salesforce administrator where you don't need to code anything. Okay, so everything is use your mouse, point, click, that's it. So everything is of that kind of thing. You don't need to code anything. That is about a Salesforce administrator. So some people, even though the application is readily available, some people they wanted to customize their application. Okay, so just like they wanted to change the look and feel, okay, then they may go for development, and if you are really good at development, you can become a Salesforce developer, right? So after this, once you are done with your admin and developer and you're very much good at both, then you can go for release management, right? And after that, there are some other roles like Salesforce architect, Salesforce consultant, and but basically these three are the main roles. Yeah, so you can advance your careers by starting as a developer. You can start your career as an admin or developer, and you can progress in your career like till architect. Okay, so and how it is going to be? I mean, what are the project management? I mean, what is the software development life cycle which is there in Salesforce? Okay, so definitely most of the organizations who use a Salesforce go for agile methodology. So in classes we'll be dealing with what agile methodology really is in detail. Okay, so how we move code from how we move code to the production. So in Salesforce we have sandbox concept. Okay, so whenever you're purchasing your account, okay, so you'll be having this option to create your sandboxes, right? So sandbox is not a production instance. It won't contain any live data, any production data, I mean real-time data. So sandbox is used to develop your application. Okay, so develop your components here. Whatever the component you wanted to develop, a developer will be doing all his development in sandbox. Okay, so develop or customize application, right? So once the developer has developed this application, this component, we need to have a one more sandbox. Maybe this one you can call, we can different on different names. So this sandbox you can call a developer sandbox. Okay, so after that, once you have done with your development, you need to have your testing from your end. You have to test your development from your end. After that, we need to move this code to a different sandbox. So that is the QA sandbox. You may name the sandbox in different way, but most of the people will name it as a QA sandbox, and this is dedicated to testing people. Testing people will be having their user accounts in this QA sandbox, and they'll be doing some regression testing, user testing, and end-to-end testing, something whatever the testing they wanted to, they can do that. Okay, so this sandbox, QA sandbox, is totally for testing people, and they test the component here. If any defects are found, okay, so a developer will be thinking in a positive way and the testing engineer will be thinking in negative way. So if he got any faults with the development, then he will be notifying the development team, and again the developer has to develop his component in a developer sandbox. Okay, and again the same code will be moving to QA sandbox, and if everything is fine now in this case, then the development has to go for full sandbox where we'll be having some real-time data. Okay, so we need to test like what are the impacts if this code will go to production. Before going into the production itself, we need to check the impacts if it goes to production. Okay, again after moving to full sandbox, the QA people will be testing and the development team also obviously will test. So if everything is fine, then they'll be having some release dates for their application, right? So on the release date, they'll be going to move the code to production. Okay, so moving production code to production maybe once in 3 months, but this kind of scenario will be going like weekly or monthly, like developer developing the component and moving it to QA and QA people testing it and finding some faults and again sending the component back to development team and moving it to, if I mean once again the developer will test the component and develop it and again move to QA sandbox and again it move to full SP. So this kind of scenario will be, some in some organization it is a weekly scenario, and in some organizations they do it once in 2 weeks, something like that. So for production, they will be moving the code once in 3 months or 2 months, something like that. Okay, so they will be developing all the components individually and testing and keeping all the code. Okay, and like once in 3 months or 2 months, they'll be moving the total development to the production. Okay, but before moving the code to production, we need to check it thoroughly, because if we got any impact, then we are going to suffer a lot. So that is the reason we need to check everything clearly. So this is the project life cycle in Salesforce application. Okay, any doubts so far? Any doubts?
Hey Srini, this is Jay.
Yeah, hi Jay.
Hey, quick question. What are all the skills required to become a developer?
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, I thought of telling that, but I forgot. Thanks Jay for reminding me. So
No problem.
if you wanted to become a developer, you need to have some knowledge on OOPS concepts. Okay, the development is very easy, to be frank. Okay, so there is not like which we develop something in Java. So it is very easy to develop. Okay, so let me show you with a simple example. Let me show you this example. So yeah, let me go to my lead object and see here there is a form. Okay, so customer care representatives are going to fill this, right? So something like some test del and save it. So I made this field as mandatory, right? Let me go to my validation rules and remove all the validations on lead object. Okay, now you can save this record. Right, I saved this record, but whenever a customer care representative is filling this form, I want to make it mandatory to take his mobile, to take his phone number also. Okay, so without his phone number, we should not allow the representatives to save this record. He should have a phone number. Okay, so for that what I can do is I can go for my validation rules here. So this is using admin. Click on new and write a validation phone number is mandatory. So here see, I got some functions, how I can make a validation rule of this type. Okay, so you can use, you have to check which function suits for this validation rule. So if you don't have any knowledge on these functions, see here, quick tips, operators and function. If you click on this, it will navigate to your other window, and here they will explain everything about each and every function. Okay, so which function is for what purpose, they will be explaining you everything in detail. Okay, so see here, there is a function called is blank. See, is blank, click on it, and in this one you need to enter your field value. So to insert field, and what is the field I wanted to make it mandatory? My phone field, insert phone, that's it. So this makes the user to enter the phone number, otherwise it won't be allowing to save the record. So you can check syntax, there are no errors found. So you can write a message, error message. What error message need to be displayed? Please enter the phone number, right? Where you wanted to display. I wanted to display it at the top of the page. So click on save. Now go back to your lead. So without giving phone with field, you save this record. Now edit this one, and if you click on save, you can see the validation message. Please enter the phone number. So this is something like your admin, and the same thing how you can do that in the backend. So some clients, they don't like writing this kind of thing using admin. So they wanted to use it from the backend. So in that case, go to the developer console. This is something like force.com. Here you can customize your application. Okay. So right, click on file, new. I wanted to write a trigger, right? So write the name of the trigger. I'm writing the trigger on lead object. So I wanted to name it as lead trigger and write it on lead object. This is my lead record, submit it. Right, this is the basic syntax of the lead that is readily available to you. Okay, so in this you can write your logic for each and every lead. This is enhanced for loop, we can discuss in our regular classes. If ld dot phone is equal to null, and this is not a case sensitive language like Java. Java is case sensitive. I wanted to display some different error message. Right, that's it. You have written your validation rule. Check for errors, no errors found. Okay, so now I wanted to deactivate this validation rule. So this is my validation rule. Just edit it and make it deactive. Save. Okay, so again check for any validation rules. Do we have any validation rules? Again go. No, we have one, but we deactivated it. Now try to save. We need to display a different message. Phone number is mandatory. Save. Alright, so why it is saved is, this is only when before inserting record, but what I am doing there, I am updating the existing record. So add before update and save it. So insert is only for a new record whenever you are inserting. Update means whenever you are updating your existing record. So now again edit, save. Phone number is mandatory, right? So everything like not very much simpler, but something like very easy. You can easily code. There is no need to worry. But what you need to have is, if you have good knowledge on OOPS concepts, that is more than enough. Okay, otherwise anyway we'll be discussing the coding in the class in developer sessions. So we will be covering everything, nothing to worry about it. Okay, see, phone number is mandatory. This is the error message we have given here. Okay, right. See, if you modify it, let me print this in capitals and save. See, IS became capital. Okay, so it is firing from the trigger. That is a trigger I have written, and the first one I have shown is a validation rule. Okay, so admin part is very simple. It is something like point and click. Okay, any other doubts?
So, Srini, how long is the course? What is the course duration?
Yeah, it takes around 30 to 45 hours. Okay,
45 hours, okay.
if we sit for 1.5 hours, something like that, we can finish it in 30 days, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes if I am free in the weekends, I can take some classes in the weekends too, but I'll take the convenient time for all. Like everyone should be free, then only I can go for a weekend class, otherwise I cannot. If
Okay,
everyone is not free, then I cannot, because that person is going to miss. So I'll take the availability of all the people. Then if everyone is fine, there is no problem for me in taking extra classes weekend. Because if we work for 1 month, then easily we can finish it off very early.
okay.
Yeah,
I have a question, please.
yeah, please go on.
Um, is there any way you can record the session so if I miss the class, I can watch it earlier?
Yeah, definitely I'll be giving you the recorded versions, or else I'll be uploading my tutorials on YouTube and I'll be sharing. The tutorials will be on private mode and I'll be sharing to my students only. So whoever
Oh,
attending
perfect.
that session.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
So to practice, we just have to log into this developer.salesforce.com and then practice there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just create a user account there. So they will be giving some free edition for the developers
Uh-huh.
to practice. So you can get a
Okay.
free license there. It is something like you can do everything there. It is basically a free version, but it is not something like with lower features and all. It is also having full features of full licensed version, so you can do your entire modification there. But the data limit is there. You cannot have bulk records in that free edition. That is the only.
Yeah, obviously, since it's not production, yes.
Yeah, as it is free, so there are some data limitations in the free edition.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have one more question coming up.
Okay. Please go on.
Well, I'm from an electrical branch, and is it possible for me to learn this and switch to this side and probably get a job in this field?
Yeah, definitely. Most of the people who are working on Salesforce are not from IT background. Even me, I am not from IT background. I am electronics and communication student. Okay, so
Okay.
once you started working, you will enjoy a lot with tool. Okay, see the simple thing I have done here. See, these kind of things we can see when just take
Yeah.
example of filling your passport application, right? So there are some mandatory fields. If you don't give information in that mandatory field, it will be throwing some error message, please provide information in these fields, right? Whenever we filling some online application or any passport application or something like that. Okay, see how simply we achieve that functionality here. So those people, they might be using some Java or ASP .NET pages. So
Mm-hmm.
there it is a lot of complex. They need to write something in the back end to get a validation rule, but here it is very easy. Even in writing a trigger also, it just took 3 lines of code, right? So nothing to worry.
Yes.
Most of the people who are management graduates are also coming to Salesforce. So anyway, there is nothing to worry about the coding also. Okay.
So I have one more question coming up. Is this just a course which you are helping us in, or will you also help us get a job? Like, is it a kind of a staffing firm, or it's just you as a coach and you're just coaching us
I
with
work
this
with
particular field?
Yeah, I work with the different consultancies before, but I stopped working for them. But I have really a very good contacts. So if you need that kind of help, I can refer someone so that you can take that help from them. So you are asking for the marketing, right? Marketing your profile.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that can be done by the consultancies, or else if you are good at your Salesforce, then you can directly go and upload your CV in Indeed or Monster. Then definitely you'll get a lot many calls. Just give it a
Is
try.
there any certification exam also which you
Yeah,
can write to show them that we are certified Salesforce
yeah,
executives or something
there
like that?
is, there is. So for developer, I mean for administrator, we have a app builder certification. Okay, so that is for administrator.
Uh-huh.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah, for administrator we have a app builder. But what I suggest my student is, don't go for this app builder, directly go for platform developer one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Platform
then
developer. Okay.
yeah, platform developer one, this is a certification you need to have if you wanted to become a certified Salesforce developer. Okay, so if you are done
Okay.
with this, it indirectly says that you are very good at admin, because a person need to be very much good at admin to go for development. So without knowing the admin part, we cannot become a developer. Okay, anyway, we are customizing the existing application, so we need to have knowledge on the existing tool. So that is why this certification indirectly speaks that you are good at admin. Okay, so we have platform developer 2 also, that is some kind of advanced developer certification. So you can do that later, but platform developer 1 is enough. So if you wanted to check the career opportunities of Salesforce, just give it a try. Go and create your profile in Monster or Indeed and just check how many calls you are getting, how many emails are
Oh,
coming for this tool, so that you can have some idea on the market, whether we have a good number of vacancies in the market or not. Okay, so after that also you
okay.
can decide.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh,
And any other doubts? Okay, so if we don't have any doubts, then we can wind up the session for today.
and if at all, sir, we are interested in the classes, so when can we begin? Will you send us a message on Facebook again,
uh
informing about the
I'll be
classes or
contacting,
something?
yeah, I'll be contacting you guys, but I wanted to start it as early as possible. Okay, so let's
Okay.
see how, depending on all others. Okay, let's see how things go. Okay,
Okay.
again,
Thank you so much.
yeah, no problem. Any doubts from anyone? Okay, thank you guys, and I feel it better, I mean, if you are interested, then please drop your contact numbers so that I can contact you and let you know when a new batch is going to start. Okay, so please just drop your number in this chat, so that it will be very easy for me to contact you guys, and I'll inform about the batch timings and all, when the batch is going to start and all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, Srini, one last question.
yeah.
So, to become a developer, even without any development knowledge, is good enough, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So just want to make sure because I'm not a developer, so
No problem.
uh, yeah. So
Yeah. So if
okay. Thanks, Malcolm. Yeah.
yeah, no
Go
problem.
ahead.
If you're not interested to drop your number, then just ping me or I mean, let me know when I mean you are interested or not in Facebook. Okay. If you are not interested to drop your number here, then just let me know when you are ready to start in Facebook. You can message me in Facebook. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Indu. Are you going to ask something?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. Any other doubts? Yeah. Thank you, guys. If no doubts, then we can wind up the session for today. I hope I see some of you in the future sessions. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Thank
was
you.
a good session. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for your time. Hello? Raghu?